Just as the title says, I'm not condoning it or saying to do it, but I understand it now in some regard. A friend of mine recently divorced. About 6 months ago, he finally told me what happened. He said, I cheated on her and the girl told my wife. I had no idea he was doing it. He kept it hidden pretty well. When I asked him why, he told me that it didn't happen overnight. It led up to that after months of talking. He was very depressed for months and just feeling like a failure in life. You'll probably find similar stories over in the Dead Bedroom sub as well. Basically, he was married for about 15 years, 3 kids, house, cars, both of them worked. A fairly typical situation. However, his marriage tended to go the way that a lot of marriages do: sex decreases and fighting increases over time. So, he said one day he went to the gas station to get gas and a drink, and the cashier struck up a conversation with him. Just a simple, "Hey, how's it going? You okay? You look a little down." Well, that question started him down the path. He said they would chat every time he came there to fill up. Over time, they talked more and more. He told her his problems and she told him how great he was and how attractive he was and that he could do better. He is in his mid-40s, so getting flirted with is not something that happens as often as it did in the past. Eventually, he met her at her apartment, and the rest I'm sure you can figure out. So what's that got to do with me? Well, I'm also in a seemingly loveless marriage as well. Sex is rare. Affection is non-existent, intimacy is gone. However, I have never cheated and I never really understood how someone could do it. Until yesterday. Yesterday, for the first time in probably 15 years or so, I was hit on and asked for my number. It was the weirdest feeling. I was checking out at a store and the cashier said to me, "Wow, you have beautiful eyes." Then she called her friend over and said, "Look at his eyes, aren't they amazing?" I thanked them both and then left the store. The friend followed me out of the store and yelled, "Hey, wait a second." She came up to me and said, "I'd like to meet up with you sometime. Can I have your number?" I was not wearing a ring because it doesn't fit anymore as my fingers have gotten bigger since I got the original. I told her I was married and that I appreciated her coming up to me. That was it. I got in my truck and drove home. It was on the drive home I realized what my friend had gone through. When you're sad and depressed about life and really down in the dumps and someone says that to you, it can alter your perception. I'm not gonna lie, it was an amazing feeling to be approached by someone in that capacity. However, I don't have the wherewithal to have an affair. I'm just not wired for it. If I'm being totally honest, I'm not sure if it's the actual cheating part one have a problem with, or the getting caught part. Anyway, like I said in the beginning, I do not condone cheating or advise anyone to do it. However, I feel like I fully 100% understand how some men/women fall into it.
Something a lot of women don't understand, because their experience is completely different, is that most guys can count on their hands how many times someone of the opposite sex, not including their mother, has given them a flattering compliment. Women will get them from a lot of people, especially on social media. We don't get any of that, so it gets incredibly flattering when someone notices you. So if your wife doesn't seem to notice you, a stranger with a few nice words to say carries a lot more weight with guys even if they're married. This does excuse cheating. But if you ladies want to lessen the chances of someone trying to swipe your husband, make sure he feels appreciated by you.
I used to perceive cheating as a black and white situation. Right or wrong, no nuances. Ever since I finished my 3-year master's in psychotherapy, and with that, my 3-year treatment, and started having patients who had been cheaters or cheated on, I started to have a more open perspective on it. Not open to cheat or be cheated on. I mean open to understand that many times cheating is not the problem, but a symptom of a relationship that's not working or of a person who's suffering. I think we as a society tend to be fast to judge an infidelity without knowing the whole context or everything that's going on with a person. Anyway, watching Esther Perl's "Why Do Happy People Cheat?" TED Talk really helped as well.
I think my girlfriend cheated on me last night. I'm new to this and need some outside opinions. My girlfriend and I work the same job and have the same group of friends. I left work early, but she stayed until closing. We're both bartenders. I asked her when I'd see her after work, and she said she wanted a night to herself, which was fine. But then she decided to go out to a bar with my friend and didn't want me to come. I have her location turned on. Around 1:30 a.m., she told me she was home, and she actually was. She said goodnight and that was it. But something felt off, so I checked her location around 2 a.m. She wasn't in her apartment. She was still in her complex, but in a different spot. The location tracking is very precise. I started freaking out, realizing she might have lied about going to sleep. I called and texted her multiple times, but she didn't answer. This morning, she claimed she had been in her room all night, But I know the location tracking is extremely accurate, and I don't think she realizes that. I also called my friend she was with, and he didn't answer either. Eventually, I saw her little location icon move back to her apartment. When I showed her the screenshots proving she wasn't where she said she was, she got really defensive and angry that I would accuse her of lying. Normally, if I call late at night, she always answers, drunk or not. I don't know what to do. I'm going to see her in person later, but I'm not sure what to think. Threesome really damaged our marriage. What do we do? I know this is so unbelievably stupid and obvious, but this is my life and here I am. My husband and I have been together for 5 years. We have a 2-year-old daughter and are happy together about 90% of the time. He has always wanted to have a threesome with me and another man. I've rejected it many times, though we came close early in our relationship, but it was never something I was interested in. It's always been a weird contradiction because in any other situation, he's the jealous and protective type. A couple of years ago, we became parents, and our lives changed a lot. Less fun, more time at home. We decided to take a trip without our daughter to focus on ourselves. While we were there, we spent time with a friend of his who lived in the area, someone I had only met once before. They used to work together. One night, we were all drinking at our place, and out of nowhere, my husband brought up the threesome again. I pulled him aside to talk about it, and he gave me all these reassurances about why it would be great, how his friend was the perfect person for it. Eventually, I agreed. I'll spare the details, but it was a horrible experience. Waking up sober and fully processing what had happened was even worse. Since then, I have completely lost my sexual desire. I don't even want him to touch me. I hate it. We've only had sex a couple of times, and we rarely kiss. This has led to explosive fights. He's always angry at me, but I can't fake it. There's a clear difference in our intimacy before and after that night. I don't want to feel this way, but I can't help it. If I try to force myself to be intimate, he can tell I'm not into it, which leads to another fight. I can't win. He's scared I'm going to divorce him, which I'm not. But every fight makes our marriage worse. At this point, we both hold serious resentment toward each other. I feel lost. I don't know what to do. I feel like if he would just give me time, I could probably get past this, but he won't. I always thought jealousy would be the problem in a situation like this. I never expected this. Outside of this, we have a very traditional marriage. Even our friends are like, "What the hell is wrong with you guys?" But we're not talking to anyone about it. I know this is my issue, but I don't know how to fix it or how to save my marriage. Any advice would really help. I know I was stupid. My cousin and I found 6,000 euros of drug money and we didn't tell anyone. One year, at my mom's birthday party, my cousin came over, we were both 16 at the time, and we went out for a walk and a chat, aka smoking cigarettes like the rebels we thought we were. Our usual route took us by a lake, a quiet place with barely any people around, just an old, abandoned cylindrical hat factory. For some reason, that day we decided to go inside, hide while we smoked, and explore the factory in the meantime. Long story short, we found an old desk with drawers. When we opened one, there was a stack of euros inside, along with a piece of paper with a date about a month in the future. We were both excited and terrified, unsure of what to do. But being the dumb teenagers we were, we took the money and split it between us. For context, the average salary in our country at the time was around 300 euros, and we had just stumbled upon 3,000. We swore never to tell anyone and hid the money. It took me nearly 5 years to spend all of it without getting caught. Years later, at a family baptism, we finally told everyone what had happened. They were shocked and furious, mainly because we wasted that small fortune on useless things, but in the end, we all laughed about it. Needless to say, we never went near that factory again. Looking back, it was reckless and dangerous, but at the time, it felt like the adventure of a lifetime.